hey team, hey, it's Kim Rogers. Hey team, hey, it's Kim Rogers. Hey, listen up. We're getting ready for a transformation challenge that's going to start in September. And so I want to come on here today so that I can help you understand. Have you ever been on a cycle of gaining 5 pounds and losing 5 pounds? I got a message from a lady, and I like to bring real world application to you. Got a message from a lady that says, Kim, I keep gaining and adding these same 5 pounds over and over again. What am I doing wrong? I'm strength training 4 days a week. I do cardio 6 days a week. I'm on an 1,800 calorie diet, and I'm in 1,000 calorie deficit, which is a really big calorie deficit. And she wants to know, why does she continuously lose 5 pounds and then pick that same 5 pounds back up? Well, I'm going to help you unravel that mystery this morning. Number one, planning her meals. For what I didn't hear is how she took in this 1,800 calories. Did she plan her meals, or was she just kind of randomly selecting her foods to get to this 1,800 calories? There is a difference. So plan their diet. People who plan their diet are more successful. I'm planning my diet today. I woke up and I realized I have not been as accountable over the weekend. I just had fun this weekend, as accountable. I went to the grocery store, I went to my favorite store, and I purchased food, but I forgot the one main ingredient I needed, and that was the plant meat that I needed. So, but planning your meals, planning their diet. People who are successful plan their meals. They just don't go by how they feel. They don't go by what feels good. They actually plan their meals out instead of just selecting whatever and sticking to a certain amount of calorie count. The meals are planned. Now, number two, we all overestimate the amount of food we eat. I overestimate and we undertrack the amount of food we eat. I undertracked last night. On the way to bed last night, I decided to have a package of my Himalayan popcorn, and I also grabbed a handful of nuts. How many of you out there are noshing on things all day long that you're like, that doesn't really matter, that won't count later? But over time, those calories actually add up over time. They do make a difference. So number two is be accountable. Hold yourself accountable. For a long time, the only thing that I held myself accountable with, and not anything else, was the scale. I only held myself accountable to the scale and not anything else. When I started to reverse holding myself accountable to planning my meals, to going grocery shopping, to cooking the food, to tracking the food, that really was a game changer instead of being strapped to the scale. Because keep in mind, your bodies are 70% water, so you're going to see the scale go up and down. It's going to fluctuate because of the water. You can have undigested food, you can have taking in a high sodium meal. And if you're weightlifting, here's something else. Number three, when you start to eat protein and lift weights, what's going to happen to your mindset? What's that going to do to your psyche when you start to see the scale tick up, when you start to put on muscle? So here's what I recommend. In order to overcome that mindset of you just focusing on the scale, focus on measurements. You need to be getting some data, right? You need some baseline pictures and you need measurements, because how your clothes are fitting, right? How your clothes fit is going to tell if you are making changes. How your pictures look. And I get it. When I was 238 pounds, I really didn't care for taking pictures because I just was not in the shape that I wanted to be. And I felt really, really guilty behind that, right? Remember that guilt goes around with her twin sister, makes you feel unworthy, and really makes you don't want to do it because there's a lot of pain associated with that guilt. But you are where you are, right? If you stay where you are, you're not going to change. So let's change. If that's where you want to be, now's the time for you to change. Take those pictures, get some baseline measurements, because you're about to set the standard for moving forward. And then you want that data to see if your body is changing. Measurements is the number one indicator, trusted indicator, how your clothes are fitting. If your clothes get too tight, you're gaining body fat. You can't fit into your clothes. So if you're losing fat, losing inches, then your body composition, how your body looks, is changing. So get those measurements, get those pictures. And when I was 238, right, when I took pictures and then I took pictures a month later, I didn't see this transformation, but there were visible pictures. There were visible changes. They weren't the big changes that I wanted to see. So I had to come to the reality of my own expectations to say, yes, this will take time. So you need a deadline, which brings me to my last and final point. We're getting ready for a transformation challenge, and it's going to happen inside of this group, and it's going to happen starting September 21st. You're going to see more information behind it to help you hold yourself accountable and to help you get excited before the end of the year. I don't care if you join the transformation challenge, but I need for you to get excited. Whether you have a wedding coming up, whether you got this last beach trip coming up, whether you got a birthday, anniversary, whatever it is, get excited and set a deadline. What deadlines do, they make it more meaningful, right? It makes it more meaningful when you are approached with something that is outside of your goal. It's easier to say no to something when you're thinking about, I got a deadline. All right, so that is it. That is how she keeps up and downing her 5 pounds, because she's not planning out her meals. She's overestimating what she's eating, because I didn't hear any of that. I didn't hear how she was tracking those 1,800 calories. And she got to hold herself accountable. Hold yourself accountable. And the last thing is, I don't know how she is just tracking her data, her progress approach. You know, I think that she needs to change how she's tracking her approach, right? We track the approach using one method, and we base all of our success off of the scale. That one factor is the scale, and there are many other factors. Of course, over time, you want to see the scale tick down, but that is not the only factor of success, right? Because the scale is going to fluctuate. All right, you guys, so be on the lookout for that transformation challenge. It is coming, it is on the way, and you will see that in this group starting September 1st, but we will get going September 21st. So you're going to see the information posted here in this group.